All right, welcome to the That's a Wrap pre-show. The show's about to begin, but just so you know, we do spoil Spider-Man No Way Home in this. It starts at about 27 minutes in, and then it ends at around 1 hour and 11 minutes.
Yeah, we talk about spoilers a lot.
We talk about spoilers for Spider-Man. We also talk about the new Hawkeye, just the season in general, mostly the end.
Yes, and that's after the 1 hour and 11 minute mark.
Correct.
In case you want to listen to that, we also talk about Nightmare Alley. Just a really short review.
No spoilers for that, but spoilers for everything else. We also set our scores in the spoilers, so just making sure right now, in case you wanted to hear that, I gave Spider-Man No Way Home a 96.
And I gave it like a 95, 9.5 out of 10.
Absolutely.
However you want to do it.
All right, well, that's all. We hope you enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to That's a Wrap Home Edition. We would usually be in the studio right now, but unfortunately the university is closed, and last week when the studio was scheduled to be open, it was not.
Yeah, when NKU says they're open, they're really not.
Yeah, it's quite confusing and unfortunate that the academic calendar is not true to its word. But anyways, we are here. This is not live. This is pre-recorded.
Yes.
Today, finally, we will, instead of being about 15 minutes of the podcast, the majority of it will be spent talking about Spider-Man, this
No
time
way
deliberately.
home. Yes.
Exactly. I am researching for this episode. My co-host here,
Anthony Gentry, hello.
will be giving his unfiltered opinion, and that's pretty much how we're going to go. We're going to go ahead and start on a topic other than Spider-Man, which is weird for once.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about the new Batman trailer. I believe it's
Yes.
The Bat and the Cat. It was
Yeah,
like
the
a
Bat
featurette.
and the Cat, it's... Oh my god, I can't wait for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I love how, for one, just having the Riddler in here. I haven't seen Batman and Robin, or I think it's Batman Forever, with Jim Carrey's Riddler. But I'm so excited to see the Riddler on screen, especially at the end when it's revealed that he knows that he's Bruce Wayne.
Oh, okay. I was like, at the end of the movie? Like, dude.
Oh no, end of the trailer. My bad. But, like... It's always kind of interesting when people find out secret identities, as we're going to discuss later. But especially Batman.
Yeah.
Because he is, like, for one, just such an influential figure in his world as Bruce Wayne.
Right.
And then just the dichotomy between him and Batman is so strong. And when a villain finds out, it's so interesting. So I can't wait to see how that rolls out.
Batman's probably going to have to go to Doctor Strange to get everybody to forget that he was Bruce Wayne. I'm sorry. Anyways, yes, I agree. I've never been a huge DC guy, but I'd say of my favorite heroes, Batman would be my favorite DC hero.
Yeah, Batman's so cool.
And then you got Edward from Twilight.
Hey, he's been in some other stuff.
He has, and I've heard The Lighthouse is pretty good. I've not watched it.
I haven't seen that either yet, but it's on my list.
But yeah, I'm just all curious. I'm excited. He does seem like a very good actor. And from what I've heard, he is a very good actor.
He is, yeah.
Twilight, I'd say he's probably... Oh my goodness, we need a Twilight episode.
The best part of that is the interviews he does. Because he even hates Twilight.
Yeah.
And so he just bashes on it in the interviews for Twilight, like trying to promote it.
I really want to... Next week-ish, next Wednesday... Is it next Wednesday, July 5th? Oh god, is that right?
January 5th.
January 5th. We'll be doing a special bridge episode between our season 1 and 2.
Yes.
Where we're going to, both of us, talk about our top 10 best films of 2021 and our top 10 worst films of 2021. Yes.
And if we have enough time, top 10 anticipated films for 2022.
Yes.
So this is going to be on that list.
Well, I wanted to add Twilight, but because I watched it this year.
Oh, you did?
It doesn't come out this year, so I won't. But anyways, I am very excited for Batman. It looks like a very cool rendition. It looks dark.
It does.
And
I love the scene in that like dark corridor when they just start shooting him, and he has that like bullet protective armor, and he's not like rushing, just slowly walking.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks very, very menacing, and I think that's my favorite version of Batman.
Oh yeah.
So heck yeah, I can't wait to see it. Catwoman.
Yeah.
I don't know who she is portrayed by.
Zoe Kravitz.
Okay. Who do I...
Daughter of Lenny Kravitz.
Oh, okay, cool. Her mask.
That's a bad mask.
It's kind of weird.
It's a strip of fabric that covers her nose. Mm-hmm. And that's about it. Like, it covers the back of her head, but...
Yeah, it's like... I don't know. It's like taking the Daredevil Season 2 outfit. Yeah. And then putting the mask from Daredevil Season 1 on it.
It's like you look at her and you're like, oh, that's Selena Kyle.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be... I don't know. I think it'll still be good. I'm not too worried about the costume.
I'm so excited for this movie.
The Riddler's costume looks crazy as well.
It does. I'm so excited to see like his psychoticness in the movie.
I'm only familiar with Riddler as like Lego like Batman Riddler.
Yeah, or even for me like
green suit and the question marks, which I think is Jim Carrey as well. Did he look like that?
He looked like in like these green stuff, but for me it's like I usually see the Arkham video games.
Yeah.
Riddler, and like even in that he's kind of goofy. Mm-hmm. And
sorry, no, I was just thinking in my head and I was looking around.
Oh. Yeah. So that comes out March 4th.
Yeah.
Look out for our review of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully it does not become our next Spider-Man where we talk about it week on week.
Something has to fill the slot. If it's not, it'll be another MCU title.
Yeah. Or Star Wars. We have Boba Fett coming out tomorrow.
True. I'm very excited for that as well. I've seen like the first trailer. I've not looked at any.
Yeah, I haven't looked at anything for it. I watched the first trailer, but I completely forget everything about it. Yeah. So I'm excited to just go in blind.
I think it'll be a really cool experience. I like, spoiler alert, I guess, if you haven't watched it by now, Boba Fett in Season 2 of The Mandalorian was, like, great, and a great, like...
Yes.
Just a revival of a character that really wasn't important almost at all, and almost immediately died. But I guess it was a movie gap, but, like, he didn't have the heat in those movies, but then everybody still remembers him as this, like, super cool, like, Mandalorian armor wearing, like,
yeah, guy. And, like, you look back, he really wasn't.
Yeah, he was lame. He, like, got hit by... like Han Solo, like in his jetpack.
Yeah, and then he's gone.
So I'm glad they brought him back.
Yeah. He almost had a movie at one point, and then that got canceled.
Yeah,
I'm glad he's getting a show.
Sure, it is long overdue.
Yes. So, should we move on to our main topic?
I suppose we should.
All right.
The long-awaited
Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Huge movie.
Yes.
Gigantic scale. Here is what we're going to do. We're going to plan for no spoilers up until the around 45-minute mark.
Yeah.
We're going to spend the last 15 minutes of our hour gap talking with spoilers. So this is not live, so nobody has to be worrying about listening to it right now. But just be mindful not to click ahead past 45. That is the likely range where we're going to have spoilers.
Yeah, and we will make it clear once we get there that we are going to spoil.
Yes. I would recommend watching the movie first, but granted...
it's going to be hard to talk about this without spoiling kind of anything.
Yeah. Really, we're just going to have to talk about that George Washington Bridge scene, like the trailers, and that's it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. I was hugely disappointed by it. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
I love this movie.
I wish you could have seen my face drop. Okay.
No, this is probably my favorite live-action Spider-Man movie. The only movie that tops it is Into the Spider-Verse for me. But even then, like, this movie is so good.
Yeah.
And, I had a big problem going back to our Ghostbusters review with the fan service that they had.
Yeah.
Because it felt so forced and it didn't, fit with the story. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of fan service here.
Yeah.
And it meshes so well with what they're trying to do. And it just fits and it's amazing. And I loved all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree. It's a favorite live-action Spider-Man film. The way I saw somebody compare it is that, Into the Spider-Verse, which is the one we're both referring to, I imagine, unless you're talking about one of the cartoons, is the best standalone Spider-Man film. Mm-hmm. But Spider-Man No Way Home is the best with, the film supporting it.
Yeah.
And just, across the board, I really did just enjoy it.
Yeah, one of the great things about it is that it kind of makes Homecoming and Far From Home so much better.
Yeah.
Because you realize, like in Civil War, you think we skipped over his origin story.
Right.
But this is just one giant origin story for him.
You're living through it.
And it feels like, for me, it feels like the first true, like, Spider-Man movie we get in the MCU.
Yeah. I cannot wait. What's the best way? This is going to be tough for 45 minutes.
While you think about that, I guess I can go into the villains, at least, because they were in the trailer.
True.
I gotta say, Green Goblin steals the entire show.
My first note is Willem Dafoe is freaking amazing.
He is so good in this. This is way better than his performance in Spider-Man 1 even.
Yeah.
And he was good in that. Mm-hmm. But this one, like, he brings Norman. He brings Goblin. Like,
yeah. It's, like, genuinely phenomenal.
Yes.
He was the best villain. One of probably the best villains the MCU has seen.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the Green Goblin, I've watched now Spider-Man 1 and 2.
Yes.
So I'm still behind, but that's because I'm lazy. But my actual goodness, he, without describing certain scenes, he, like, brings the Goblin to life a lot more than in the first movie.
And, like, it feels like he has a purpose here. Like, he's doing this for a reason, no matter how, like, maniacal and crazy it is. Mm-hmm. And, like, he brings that crazy.
Yeah, even, like, on top of that, like, the Green Goblin is one of the only villains where it's, like, it's not, like, he has this, like, deep inner justice that he's trying to commit for somebody. He's not trying to, like, save the world and turn them on to lizards for evolution. He's not trying to, like...
get home to his daughter.
Exactly. He is just evil.
Yes.
He just loves violence.
And that's what makes him such a good, like... villain character, like, oh my god.
And Willem Dafoe also stated in an interview that he would only come back if he would do his own stunts.
Yeah, I love that. Mm-hmm. There is a scene, like, involving the Goblin where I was like, oh, it looks like Willem Dafoe is there. That's kind of cool how they were able to, like, maybe, like, CGI him without, and, like, with the stunt double being there, obviously. And then I saw later, no, he does all his own stunts.
Yeah. And, I mean, it pays for it. He did all his own stunts in Spider-Man 1.
Yeah.
And, like, this one as well. And it's just, like, he blew my expectations out of the water alone.
Yeah. Going back to what you said earlier about wanting to turn the world into giant lizards.
Yes.
And getting back to your daughter. Mm-hmm. The Lizard and Sandman are so wasted, honestly.
Yeah.
They're one of the low points.
Mm-hmm. I especially feel bad for Lizard. He, like... I guess this isn't spoilers,
he
but
just gets sidelined.
Yeah, there's not a lot of involvement with him, but I think that's because they had the guy on set, that's for sure.
Well, no, they couldn't. Rhys Ifans and Thomas Hayden Church, they wanted to be in the movie, but they're like scheduling issues. They couldn't be on set,
right?
So they just did the voice for it, which is why you see them as they are.
Exactly.
And Thomas Hayden Church, he's a good actor. I want to say that. Mm-hmm. In Spider-Man 3, his acting was kind of stiff. You know, like, leave now. This is your warning.
He's saying it.
In this, his acting is still stiff. He's like, hey, it's me, Flint Marko.
It's not great. Yeah. No. I think Sandman will always have a place in my heart just because of Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, especially that scene when he turns into Sandman.
Yeah, falling into pits. Like, whatever he says. But... both of those, I do agree. They were not as involved as they probably should have been. I did like... this is a spoiler, I think I'm about to
Okay, so we can wait until the ending.
Okay, let me write it down.
Write down.
So that way we can talk about it at the end.
But the other villains, like Doc Ock.
Oh, boy.
I really loved Doc Ock in this. I didn't even know he was de-aged in the movie.
Yeah, I saw that earlier today as well.
Yeah, that's crazy to me because I did not notice anything. Mm-hmm. But, like, he was so good in this movie. Yeah. Electro was really good.
True.
One of my problems with that, though, is that for, like, at the beginning, he did not feel like the same Electro
Yeah,
from the Amazing Spider-Man, and like they do kind of MCU-ify these villains.
They do
a little bit, less so with like Goblin and Doc Ock.
Yeah,
but like there's a scene with like the villains, and they're just kind of like cracking jokes, and it just doesn't seem fitting to their characters. That was one of the big problems I had with the movie. Yeah. But then it does like keep going, and they get less like that and more like their past selves.
Right.
Which I liked. Like I really enjoyed Electro in this.
Yeah.
Especially knowing like watching The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and like all he wants is to be noticed, and that turns into just a want of having like people in his life to a want of power to get noticed.
Right.
And that transfers over here. And so that's really cool. All these villains have intentions. And you can fully see it.
Absolutely. Talking about Doc Ock, who is probably, like, after Green Goblin, my favorite. He, again, was just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like, they all went back into the roles so incredibly well. The bridge scene that pretty much everybody knows no matter what, as long as they've seen the trailers.
And they didn't even show you the whole scene.
No, they don't, which is surprising of how much we've seen of it in the trailers. It was just like also really good. I liked the action scenes. I liked the well, I don't think I liked the resolution of the George Washington Bridge scene as much, but it was okay.
Okay, I can see that. It felt without like spoiling it, obviously.
Yeah.
It felt at least fitting. Like it makes sense as to why it would end that way.
Yeah.
But also like going back to the beginning of the movie, I loved kind of the cinematography in it.
Yeah.
Because it felt different from the other Spider-Man movies because those have more of a like John Hughes like school type feel.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it feels like more grown up. Like we're taking this seriously now. Like and the cinematography like shows for I don't know who did it, but they did a great job.
Yeah, a lot of to kind of move into the theme of Spider-Man going forward and how we were. A lot of people like to compare our version of Spider-Man to like Iron Man Jr. or like Spider-Boy. And then like a lot of diehard MCU fans will be like talking out against that and being like, no, it's like he built his own suit in
Far From Home
or Homecoming and Far From Home.
Yeah, but like
all Stark Tech, but also
even in those movies though, they say you're Iron Man Jr.
Yeah, exactly. There's a I think it's in this or it's promotional material. Either way, it's not a spoiler. There's like a Daily Bugle like
oh yeah,
and it says like Spider Boy or Iron. It was one of those.
Well, like even in like Homecoming and like Far From Home, he wanted to be Iron Man Jr.
Right.
But in this one, he just becomes his own like superhero.
Which is the best point, and that's really like the support behind like this is his origin story.
Yeah.
It is taken him till now to be Spider-Man instead of Spider-Boy.
And with that like transformation, this movie has so much like heart and emotion that you don't get with a lot of other MCU movies.
Yeah.
I cried a lot watching this.
I didn't, but I felt like the same level. I didn't cry during like spoiler alert, Tony's death or anything like that.
Okay. I thought you were going to spoil
No, not Spider-Man.
You should have seen the death glare I gave.
Yeah, no, not yet. I'm holding back. Yeah. But it was still definitely a very, very emotional movie.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of the beats hit exactly how they were supposed to. They just did really good. And it feels like, aside from Sandman and Lizard, like, they hit beats of everybody who was in it to a very good degree.
Yeah.
Heck, even Flash Thompson comes back again.
I mean, I didn't, like, I never really liked him, but I feel like this is kind of the worst that we get of him. But, I mean, this is the least we see of him, too, so it doesn't really matter.
For a 2.5 hour movie, they do a pretty good job of covering their bases.
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of movies have like struggle with, especially MCU, with like things like Eternals, where they introduce 10 new characters and expect to have a finished plot by the end of it.
Yeah.
But they did good with this one.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about Doctor Strange.
True.
I thought he was really good, and he was a little wasted.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were saying, like, in the trailers, oh, why would he do this spell if he knows it's dangerous? Why this? Why that? Mm-hmm. They do change that scene around a little bit, and you understand why he's doing it.
Right.
Especially, like, where Peter's coming from, because it's not just like, oh, poor me. It's coming from a place of compassion.
Yeah.
And I just love the reasoning behind doing it.
I have a trivia thing for the end of the episode. Okay. With Doctor Strange.
But, I thought Doctor Strange was really cool in this. I like the scenes he has with Peter. Mm-hmm. It's so good. This movie is so good. I also like just going back to Spider-Man. I like his action scenes are really good too.
They're really great.
There's a scene you didn't really like as much, but I like how he uses his intelligence in fights.
Oh my god!
No, because. He is a scientist.
No, I absolutely agree.
Yes.
I think one of the best Spider-Man fights are the ones where he's using his wits and not just brute strength. There's a million other heroes for them to do that. But the execution of that was so utterly ridiculous.
I mean...
nothing about that made sense. Spider-Man... Can't we talk... Like, it's technically spoilers, but if I don't explain context, then it won't... like spoil anything.
It's a scene. I guess we do kind of see it. We see in the trailer when Doctor Strange and Spider-Man are in the mirror dimension. That scene with like the train and everything. Just so everyone knows, we're not spoiling anything. It's in the trailer. They're trying to get that box thing. Yeah. So that scene.
There are like floating things all around, and Doctor Strange is like kind of also floating around, and Spider-Man's trying to like get to Doctor Strange, and so out loud he like looks at all the floating things. They're floating rocks for like just to make it easier to describe, and he like sees them all floating around, just giant clumps of rock, and he's like, pi 2r squared, and he starts like like swinging through the rocks, and he's like, of course this is geometry.
Of course he has to say it out loud, because if he thinks it,
that's
then
what
it's just
he always
does.
How do you think he just swings around buildings?
I know, but like this is like actively showing off his intelligence.
It's so stupid. So there's so many better ways to do it.
Okay, well I like the concept at least.
I do like the concept, but the execution was so cheesy.
So if anyone thinks we're being like fanboys about this, we have critiques.
Yeah. There's a line that is said. I'm not going to say. You watch this movie for yourself and suffer through that. But oh my goodness, it was something. It was a cool scene. I'm not gonna like bash that itself, but like no Peter Parker I've known swings through the air and he's like 30, 25 to 20 degrees, and he's like, bro, no. Nah.
But this is also like a high stress situation.
Yeah, but like the things he spouts are so ridiculous.
But if like he doesn't say, then we have no idea what he's doing and why he's doing it. You know?
I don't know. Yes, you're right, but like it's so dumb.
Okay. Anyway, another one of my notes is the chemistry in this movie between Peter, MJ, and Ned.
Yeah.
Like, especially MJ and Ned. Because, like, you don't really get the love interest and best friend dynamic a lot. Right. I guess you do in the original Spider-Man, but those are, like, lovers.
Yeah.
Like,
I've got more of an idea of MJ or Mary Jane from Spider-Man 1 and 2.
Yeah, I do not like that MJ.
Imagine asking your fiancé to kiss you upside down to feel what it was like to kiss Spider-Man again.
And then leave him at the altar.
Yeah.
Anyway. That MJ is toxic. We're not going to go into it. But the chemistry in this movie is so... I described it as electric.
Okay.
Because you can, see the love that they have for each other, especially in, the promotional material.
Yeah, for sure.
You know that they are truly friends. Obviously, Zendaya and Tom Holland are dating. And you can just see, they are truly friends and they love each other. And it just transfers like completely onto screen perfectly.
Yeah, I think they've always been my favorite parts of all the other Spider-Man films as well.
I love in Far From Home the summer fling with Ned and Betty.
Yeah, they're always so they steal the show or the scene, whatever they're in.
Yeah.
There's a scene later in the movie with Ned, which I can't talk about because there's spoilers. That's really good. Just there's a scene that's good with Ned's spoiler alert. That's it.
Yeah. There's a lot of good scenes with Ned.
There really is.
He is so good in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else to say without getting into spoiler territory.
Right. Let's see. We can talk about Hawkeye if you want to, but the thing I want to talk about Hawkeye.
We can probably talk about that at the end.
Okay.
Since we've already started talking about
Spider-Man. I
wish
I gave myself 20 minutes at the end, because now we have a little bit of time before getting to the 15. We don't have a timer.
We don't, no.
We did not...
We usually, since we do it live, we start this at 4.
Yes.
Immediately, so we know how long. We did not start this.
I'm guessing we started around like 10:10, maybe?
I think so. Maybe 10:15. It's 10 in the morning right now for us.
Yeah.
So, not entirely
we're only around 23 minutes in.
Yeah.
Which means we gotta talk for 20 more minutes about Spider-Man.
Which we can do. Like, no problem.
I mean, let's see... Here's one. Yeah. Doctor Strange says that everyone who came from... is this a spoiler? Well, this is stupid.
Okay, you know what? We're going to go into spoilers.
We're going to go into spoilers.
This is probably going to take up the majority of our time.
If we just do 15 minutes of spoilers, it's still the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, well, we can talk about Hawkeye at the end, too.
Okay.
I mean, I guess we can talk about... we should talk about this
I don't know how to do it with GarageBand, but we can probably go back to the beginning and say there will be spoilers earlier.
Yeah, oh yeah, we can do that. Okay.
And we'll do that.
So
spoilers starting soon. Right now, actually.
Yes.
Be mindful if you hear this. This is spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home. You have been warned. Do not... If you're clicking to this part of this podcast somehow, click away. Unless you've seen it, then stay and listen to us talk about the movie.
We should just have this like giant alert in the background. Like, spoilers. We
should. It's like Audio Jungle.
Yeah. It's
spoilers for Spider-Man. Spoilers for Spider-Man.
Spoilers for Spider-Man. Okay, so spoilers. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay.
The scene with Goblin at like Happy's apartment.
Yeah.
Like, especially the beginning with Peter's spider sense.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Sorry for your headphones. Headphone users.
That was a big audio spike. But that was so good.
I was so absolutely on the edge of my seat. I thought
I know.
I had no idea what was going to happen next. And I was like, what is he doing?
Especially since like that spider sense scene, Peter's in a room full of villains.
Yeah.
And the only one he can be kind of sure it's not is Doc Ock.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And so it was like, who is it going to be?
I thought Electro was going to, like, do something.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Electro or Goblin when Doc Ock says, you're finally going to be, like, cured again. And then you see that, like, transformation.
Right.
But then, like, and then he webs Goblin and he's like...
I thought... that was going to be the introduction of a sixth villain. I thought that's when, like, I guess we're in spoiler territory now. Yeah. Venom. Oh boy.
We're gonna talk about that after this. We're gonna talk about that.
I thought that's when Venom was gonna like break through the window, or Lizard, who was left in the car outside.
Yeah, he's just chilling in the van.
I don't know why he waited in there for so long. But he did.
I know. And then like they make it seem like it's his plan all along, and so it begins. Like, what begins?
Yeah.
What? I don't know. But the scene, like the fight with Goblin and Peter, where like you just see Goblin's like pure like brute strength.
Yeah.
And Peter trying to fight back, and his like he knows this is going to end badly because May is there, and he's trying to tell May, get out, please get out. And then, like, especially crashing through all those floors. I loved that. Like, Peter hitting him.
And he's just snapping back.
Yeah, snapping back and just smiling.
That was my favorite part.
I know, yeah.
Like, that is what nailed Willem Dafoe as, like, Green Goblin.
Yeah, I keep seeing, like, clips on TikTok of it. And, like, I just stop and just watch. Because that is such an amazing scene of... He wants this. Yeah. He wants Peter to be broken. He wants to show him... I'm going to break you. Ivan Drago, I will break you.
Yeah. Something I think the MCU lacks on a lot is, like, whenever they get into the action scenes, it's just action, and they're not able to, like, tell story or display emotion very well. It's more of just, like, fighting. Here's look at all the guys fight. Look at them go.
Yeah.
This was, like, that fight specifically as well, was just full... Like, you could... Every time they showed Willem Dafoe's face...
Yes.
It was sold.
And even, like, Peter... They didn't show his face, like, too many times. But even his body language...
Yeah.
You can sense his desperation.
Right.
Of just trying to get this guy to calm down and, like, get him over... You see that in, like, every fight in this movie with him. Like, this fight with Doctor Strange... It's not, like, more desperation, but more just wanting to help these people and, like, trying to figure out how to, like, be Doctor Strange so he can help.
Yeah. It's just so much guilt on like, our Peter Parker.
Wait, who?
That I think is my funniest, like, I don't know if you'd consider it a meme to come out of this movie.
Yeah, it's a meme.
That's hilarious.
But, yeah, like, and then as it goes on, Aunt May's death.
Yeah.
And when she says, with great power, there must also come great responsibility. And that kind of seals the deal for her. Like, she's gonna die.
Yeah.
I cried at that scene.
Yeah.
That was so good. I guess, since we're in spoiler territory, we can talk about the big spoiler.
Yeah.
Which is Andrew Garfield.
Okay.
Were you actually thinking that?
No.
Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire.
Well, they're in this? I didn't watch this movie. What? Bro.
No.
Oh my goodness. Again, sorry, headphone users. We don't have actual studio mics. We're using an internal laptop mic right now.
Yes, I'm so sorry. This is what happens when NKU closes without telling us they're closed.
Yeah, I'm going to transfer schools.
But
anyways, they're in it.
I always said Andrew Garfield is a better Spider-Man than Tobey Maguire. Yeah. I always thought he was better.
I feel like that's pretty accepted.
Well, no, I see a lot of people saying Tobey's the best, Tobey's the GOAT.
Well, just because Tobey's he was the Peter
first. Well, I mean, like, just Spider-Man overall. Like, the character, like Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Okay.
I always like Andrew Garfield more. Overall, I love his Peter.
I feel like what this movie has enlightened for a lot of people
is Andrew Garfield. Yeah,
is Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, and this movie proves that
he has 2021 in a chokehold.
He does. Isaac Tammy Faye, Tick Tick Boom, this
Spider-Man, and so you got all the people petitioning on, like, Twitter with hashtag.
And
like let's make
Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Yeah,
and I'm like. Yeah, I want to see Amazing Spider-Man 3 too.
But you guys are
bandwagoning.
Yeah.
But no, like, I mean, I liked Tobey Maguire. Like, in his originals, like, in this, his acting still felt a little stiff.
I feel like...
Especially when he stops... when he stops Tom Holland at the end, and he just has this blank face on him. When he comes in, he looks constipated.
That's fair. He always kind of does. And I feel like I don't know if that was deliberate, but it worked.
I don't know.
It didn't. If they had actually made him, like, good, then it wouldn't have felt like our Raimi Spider-Man.
But I just loved having all three Spider-Man in this movie.
Yeah.
Especially, I thought they were going to be in it, but I didn't expect it to be that early.
Same. I thought, like, they're coming through, I can't stop them. Like, they were going to swing through the purple.
Yeah, and I'm so glad we got them early, because we get true like character development for them, and they also help Peter. Yeah, especially like we were talking about with Ned earlier. The scene with Ned talking to Toby, saying, "Hey, do you have a best friend?" And it's like, "Yeah, he tried to kill me. It was heartbreaking." And that's with Ned saying, "I am not going to kill you.
I will never betray you." He becomes, or there's like a version of Ned Leeds in the comics who becomes Hobgoblin.
Yeah, I think that was a reference to it.
Yeah, I don't think it'll actually happen. I could not see Ned.
I can see it happening.
You could.
Because especially at the end, when MJ and Ned walk through, I thought they were going to kiss. I thought they were going to be dating.
That was almost a jump scare waiting to happen.
But that still might happen. Who knows?
No
like,
way.
Maybe they get together and then Peter comes in.
And then Tom Holland breaks up with Zendaya and Zendaya starts dating.
In real life.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
This real life love triangle. But anyway, like, these three Spider-Men, they have, like, such a good dynamic together.
They really do. Their dialogue is, like, just... We get, like, probably one or two, like, instances where it's just the three of them bantering.
Yes.
And it just feels like Spider-Man talking to himself.
It does, and it's so good. Especially the lap scene.
No, you're amazing. You say it out loud. Yeah. I want to hear you say it out loud.
And he's like, thank you, I need to hear that. Oh my god, Andrew, like, every time he
Peter
brought
3.
up... But, like, every time he brought up Gwen, that hurt my heart.
That scene delivered so well. The MJ falling and him... It was like, we knew it was going to happen, but it, like, bursted through my
If you want to know all the times I cried, it was Aunt May's death, when Andrew brings up Gwen, when they say, I know how it feels, and Tom Holland says, you do not know how it feels, and then it cuts to Andrew, and he just looks away, like, reflecting on Gwen. That made me cry. When he saves MJ, that made me cry. And then at the end, when they all forget, that made me cry. I cried a lot in this movie.
Yeah. Venom. Unless you don't want to talk about Venom, I'm just really excited to.
I don't want to talk about it. That post-credit scene, I hated.
Such a waste.
It was so bad.
I don't know if there's a reason out there for why it sucked or why they couldn't include it.
Like, I hated that post-credit scene, but I don't really count it against the movie because it was after. Okay. But, oh my god.
What a waste.
It was such a waste.
In the end of Venom, let there be carnage.
Let's be carnage.
Let's be carnage. Kind of true. It implies, or it doesn't even imply, it literally shows him being, like, dimension teleported into, like, the MCU. It's got J. Jonah Jameson. We've talked about this on the podcast before. And
then he's just gone.
And then he's gone. You get a post-credit in No Way Home. I believe it's the first one. And it's Eddie Brock, or that Eddie Brock, at a bar. And he's like, so a purple dude with rocks, or whatever. He's, like, MCU comedy about Thanos.
Yeah.
And then
you get a cameo from the guy from Ted Lasso, Football is Life.
Okay. And that's it. He disappears. And then it's like, the real spoiler here is that, like, a little bit of the symbiote, like, gets left on the table.
That's what I think the reason why they brought him over. So he can still be in Sony's Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
While also bringing in the symbiote for, like, Peter to fight. Right. In this. I really hope they keep Peter, and Kevin Feige has that they're developing Spider-Man 4, so that's good.
Yeah.
But, that post-credit scene was so bad. It was so wasted.
I mean, for a while, I have a headcanon that, like, technically explains it, but the law of Doctor Strange's spell is that he brought in everyone who knows that Spider-Man is Peter Parker. That's who the spell, like, flip-flopped to, like, make people forget. Now it's bringing in people who know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And so there is no Peter Parker in the Sonyverse.
Yeah. The only explanation I've seen is that Venom is a hive mind.
Correct.
Where, like, they travel across, like, multiverses. And so Venom knows, but Venom never let on that he knows.
Right. I think that's, like, the only, like, even little bit of a gimmick that I can give them. Is because even in the end credit for Venom, is that's where Venom says, like, I am a hive mind. I have not showed you even, like, a fraction of your power.
And, like, I will say also Electro doesn't know Peter.
There's even a line that acknowledges what he looks like
Well, not even that. Fight. But he does not know Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Right.
In Amazing Spider-Man 2. Mm-hmm. I did see something like, I think yesterday or the day before, that like in the final fight in Amazing Spider-Man 2, when Gwen and Peter are talking, like Gwen says, Peter. And so, yeah, that's flimsy, but I'll take it.
It's like MJ in the Spider-Man PS4 game when they're in the museum and she just yells Pete after he just beat up a bad guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some like, I don't know about this kind of errors, but I don't care. It was fun. Those weren't too much of a concern of mine. 1 second. Could you...
Yeah. So, one of the things I love about this movie is the ending. Not the post-credit scene, but the ending. Like, just Peter making the ultimate sacrifice.
Yes.
I guess not the ultimate because he's still alive.
True.
But just everyone forgetting about him.
He might as well be dead. Well, Spider-Man not be dead, but Peter Parker is.
And that does bring up a few questions. Like, so if Happy remembers...
True.
Like, knowing Spider-Man's aunt. And what if Peter, like, shows Happy, hey, I'm Spider-Man. Do those memories come back? Like, does anything happen?
I think we kind of talked about this very briefly after we watched it. I think it functions for any Percy Jackson readers out there, like The Mist.
Yeah.
Where there's no, like, written explanation, but it just kind of morphs to fit the truth.
I think so too.
Because like you could get specific with it, and you could ask for like questions and definitions of like how does Happy Happy Hogan, what does he think happened at like with all of Homecoming and like knowing Tony Stark and like the connections. I feel like it's better just not to think about it and just to let it be like washed away with the spell.
Yeah.
Like just imagine that the spell cannot work and that everybody who knows Peter Parker won't know Peter Parker.
Yeah, and by the way, Percy Jackson, amazing series.
Good.
Can't wait for the Disney Plus show.
True.
Anyway,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was so heartbreaking, that scene with Happy and Peter, and just saying like, oh, how do you know May? And like that made me kind of glad that May is dead, just in the sense of Peter doesn't have to go through that.
Right.
But I loved, especially before the spell is cast, and Doctor Strange is saying, everyone who loves you and know you, and then he says, we won't know you.
Exactly.
And I'm like, oh man.
In whenever Doctor Strange is describing what happened to the spell, he tells Peter that he tampered with the spell 6 times, but Peter says he only did 5 times.
Yeah,
MJ,
and he did.
Ned, Aunt May, Happy, and then basically everyone as a 5th. And so the 6th is Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Is a fun head canon for me. It's not confirmed. Okay. But it's because he wanted to remember Peter for himself.
Yeah.
Whether that be to keep tabs on him or because he likes him. Leave that up to interpretation. But I really liked that.
Yeah, I loved the ending. And just like him getting the apartment, getting the classic suit. And if you notice, the front of the suit...
Is it Peter's? Or Toby's?
Yes, Toby's spider. And the back of it is Andrew's spider.
Yeah.
So I really liked that. I was really hoping... I knew he wouldn't, but like for him to just pop up in Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Because it was around the same time.
Right. He's like his apartment overlooks Rockefeller Center.
Yeah.
Like he swings out by the Christmas tree.
I think he could have been swinging for a little bit at that point.
But it's still close enough where you think if Kingpin showed up that Spider-Man would have a word in it. Yeah. But
I guess spoilers for Hawkeye.
True.
Yeah.
Well, he was in episode 5.
He was in episode 5.
He was in episode 5. Everybody knows it. He was at episode 3 for...
Yeah. Daredevil was in this. He was in this. Like, just for a little cameo, but it was nice seeing Daredevil.
Oh my goodness. He's my favorite.
I love his Netflix show.
Oh my god. I hope MCU is willing to go the distance they need to continue Matt Murdock on the dark story, dark Matt Murdock.
I mean, I saw this twice on the same day, and in my first showing, before he was on screen, before I think even the cane came down, people just had had a spider sense, and just they were clapping and cheering. I was like, "What?" And then I saw him. I was like, "Oh, Daredevil!"
He's just a really good lawyer.
He is. He's the best lawyer.
So incredibly good. I'm so glad that he came back. Vincent D'Onofrio. Came back for Kingpin. I thought he was gonna have like a fat suit. I guess he does. I couldn't tell.
He might have a little bit.
I thought it was gonna be like Kingpin, like PS4 version, where he's like super chubby and like cute, like ginormous.
Yeah.
And he like was, but not to a like. This is like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm glad he wasn't that, but yeah, I love seeing Daredevil in this.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I want to go back to the Spider-Man. They were so good in this movie.
I can't get over them.
I love their banter at the Statue of Liberty, and just like going back and forth, like the callback to my back.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And just like taking a whole minute for Andrew to crack Toby's back is the best Spider-Man cinema like moment ever.
And even though I call people bandwagons, I love how people are now recognizing Andrew Garfield as not even like the best Spider-Man or anything.
He had bad movies.
No, he didn't. But
yeah,
no, they were great movies.
We really weren't.
Even if people don't think he's the best, like fine, everyone has their own opinion. But just recognizing how good he is, and that he deserves a third movie because he got shortchanged.
Yeah, I really, really liked him. I liked all he felt like. Toby felt like this kind of weathered Spider-Man. I really liked whenever he like had the Spider-Man suit under his regular
cool
clothes.
Youth pastor.
Yeah.
I loved and like when they see their villains again, like when Toby meets up with Doc Ock at the end, and like when Andrew like in the fight when he sees Electro, he's like, "Hey Max, what's going on, buddy? Like long time no see."
Right.
And I'm like, that is the Andrew from Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like that's him. It's so amazing.
And then the thing I wrote earlier was on the Sandman topic is I like how they approached them coming into this universe. Because, like, obviously with the trailer, it, like, makes the wording and the MCU-ness, like, of mixing stuff up, makes you think that, like, they all die. And obviously they don't. Sandman doesn't die. Electro just kind of turns into energy.
Yeah. And I like the idea of, like, Sandman doesn't know he dies just because he was the last villain, so no one can tell him he dies.
Well, Sandman doesn't die.
Oh, yeah, but, like, he doesn't know that.
Fair enough, yeah. True.
Because
he's in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, that's what I really like, because he was the last villain of that franchise. Mm-hmm. So, like, he can tell Doc Ock and Goblin that they died.
Right.
But no one can tell him that he died, so he just has to assume. Same with, like, Lizard, I guess, because he was just taken into, like, not even custody, like, captivity. Mm-hmm. So who knows what happened to him.
Yeah.
And then Electro, he just figured out he was going to die.
Yeah, Electro is kind of, what's the word? Right, like, trigger happy, I guess, the entire time, where he's just looking at New York and he's like, I want some of that.
I really like the scenes with him and Sandman in the apartment. That was cool.
But what I was saying is I really liked the way they approached the re-entry, where it wasn't like, here's all these villains, they're mad and angry. They brought Sandman back after his fight with Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
So he was like, what can I do for you, Peter? And he puts up the wall.
It's me, like, Flint Marko. that was so bad acting.
It was something.
Hey, Peter.
But
I'm
they did
the Sandman. I mean, he didn't say that, but...
And whenever Peter fixes Doc's inhibitor chip, that whole sequence is just really, like, also where you can see it, like, leave Doc Ock's face.
It was so good. And I love how, like, when we set their intentions, like, they all have, like, really good intentions.
Yeah.
Or not, like, good intentions.
See my daughter.
But, like, their intentions are clear, they make sense.
Right.
And... I don't know. Did you notice that Doc Ock went back with the arc reactor?
Yeah, I saw that. I'm curious. I thought they were gonna have a lot of fun with the post-credit scenes where they were gonna recreate like
that
stuff.
Would be cool.
He's like we probably got 3 the power of the sun in the palm of my hands in this movie.
I wonder if they're still gonna die though, because like Doc Ock,
that would suck.
At the point where he leaves. The reactor, basically mini-sun,
he knew Peter
was almost at the point of it's too late. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I guess he could just real quickly do it. Yeah. But he might have to go down with the ship again.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope not.
I think Electro's fine because he's got all the electricity out of him.
Right.
And then the lizard, I guess he's okay too, because like he's just normal.
They're just kind of hanging out. They actually in the scene, the very short scene where you see Lizard turning back into Kurt Connors. Well, I guess he's always Kurt Connors, but human Kurt Connors.
Yeah.
Is like they use a scene of his fingers like turning back, and it's a reused animation of Sandman from Spider-Man 3. When he gets water on him and sand starts like dripping off.
Well, that was for Sandman scene, but for Kurt Connors, that's just from the Amazing Spider-Man.
Is it?
Yeah, because like he grows, you see him grow his arm and stuff, and so they just reverse it.
Yeah, but like there was a lot of smart. I like that they reuse the elements like that.
Oh yeah.
Because it helps it stay more like honorable to the original works, and create that like authenticity, which I really liked.
Yeah, I loved so much about this movie. I kind of want to go back to that ending, just especially especially the scene in the coffee shop.
Yeah,
with Zendaya.
That would he got his friends in MIT.
Yeah, that hit so bad because he just so desperately wants to just see them and like be with them again. Yeah, and then he sees like the scar on her face, not scar but just the Band-Aid. Right, and he's like, you know what? It's better if I just leave things be. And that hurt.
I'm curious if how MJ remembers Spider-Man.
I know, yeah. Like, she has to remember fighting with him.
Because everybody knows Statue of Liberty stuff. Like, they know that fight happened. So MJ was there, and she remembers that. So does she just remember, like, Spider-Man and, one of the Spider-Men saving her and, like, all of that and, like...
Yeah, she probably remembers that stuff. And, like, she probably remembers Far From Home when she's with Spider-Man and, like, helping him. But just not... Peter, like you talk about the mist from Percy Jackson, is probably just like that. I guess no one remembers Mysterio either.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been the easier call on Peter's part. Is just like make everybody forget Mysterio.
Yeah, but then you still have the problem of everyone who knows Peter Parker Spider-Man coming in.
Fair enough.
Also, I really liked how in the riffs at the Statue of Liberty you could see like Rhino and Scorpion and like all those classic Marvel villains or Spider-Man villains.
I'm sure we'll get them eventually, but it'll take a hot minute. I was kind of disappointed. I didn't quite get my Into the Spider-Verse moment where it's like, you're like me. Which I guess would have happened. If it happened at all, it would have been between Garfield and
No, I think Maguire. I think they did have that.
They did, but like obviously you can't flamboyant it up.
Yeah,
like,
but it was like hostile. You're like me. And that scene was so good.
Yeah.
As soon as like with Andrew coming, I was the first person to see that in my theater because like I was just waiting. Eyes. Yeah, and like I love his version of Spider-Man, so like I watch Amazing Spider-Man 2 a lot. Yeah. And then I saw those eyes turn around, and I said, "Oh my god!" And then it was just so silent, and then he just ran closer, and people were like, "What? Oh!" And I'm like, I saw it first.
I got really lucky. My showing was really respectful. Like we got cheers at Matt Murdock. We got cheers at like Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
That showing was a lot better. But I mean, it was kind of cool just being like, but it was every 5 minutes.
Yeah, for real.
For me.
It was, oh my goodness.
Like even the my back, it got claps and cheers.
Right. Yeah, the other thing they got a cheer was I'm something of a scientist myself.
Oh yeah, I love that. But like that, like going back to the fan service, that fits with the story because he's trying to help. Like Peter, like, hey, I can help you. You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Job at Oscorp.
and you don't mind traveling through universes.
Oh my goodness!
That's why
What's the Avengers? Is that a band? Are you in a band?
Are you in a band? That's so cool. And like they're so supportive. Just to like that's so cool, man.
I wish we would have gotten something from Andrew or Tobey Maguire about J.K. Simmons, where he's like, he's from my universe too.
Yeah, that would have been cool. But I guess like you never see them.
Yeah. So I'm not too worried about that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. The pumpkin. I was hoping that they would turn. I wasn't hoping, but I was curious. They didn't have the guts to just throw the pumpkin bomb and turn people into skeletons again.
What if that happened to Aunt May?
Imagine! That'd be really funny. Imagine if Aunt May's death was her just turning into a skeleton and that was it. Oh my god.
And like Peter is just in disbelief.
He's like... And it's just like clattering bones falling like a cartoon. It's like... Oh my god, that'd
be so bad.
I want the real pumpkin bomb cut. That's that like because I think that was my favorite part of Spider-Man 1 is when he throws the first one, and it's like this really really bad visual effects of them just turning into skeletons.
Yeah, and then just crumbling. But like that scene when they defeat all the villains. Mm-hmm. And then Willem Dafoe comes in and just throws a pumpkin bomb at, like, the box.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah, he's evil. And he's so good at it.
And that scene with, like, Peter fighting Goblin. I guess Tom Holland Peter fighting Goblin. Yeah. And,
Peter
like,
1.
Yeah, Peter 1.
Peter 3? That's my favorite part.
I love the Peter 3. He just accepts it. And, like, yeah. But apparently he got paid a lot more than Tobey for this movie.
Garfield?
Yeah. Which, you know what? I'm fine with.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. Yeah.
Well, he did have a lot more to do than Tobey.
Tobey wasn't that... He wasn't bad.
Yeah. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. He was good.
He was great at playing Raimi's Spider-Man.
He was. It's gonna be interesting seeing Raimi come back for Doctor Strange. Like,
true.
I'm Doctor Strange.
Bro, I can't describe how I feel whenever I hear the Doctor Strange theme play in every MCU movie because he's in. It is long overdue for Doctor Strange to get plot that's relevant to his emotions. Because since Doctor Strange 1, I'd also like to point out, since Doctor Strange 1, we have gotten an entire trilogy of Spider-Man films.
We have, yeah.
An entire trilogy. It took 3 Spider-Man films to get a second Doctor Strange one. He's been in everything.
Yeah, it's gonna be fair. About 5.5 years. Yeah. Because that came out like November 2016.
Yeah, they did like a Star Wars kind of schedule for Spider-Man.
Yeah. It's been every 2 years.
It's about time. I'm very, very excited. It's about time. That'll probably be our new Spider-Man.
It's about time? Time travel?
You gotta calm down.
That was a joke.
Yes.
But, going back to that fight with Peter and Goblin, and you can just see the rage on his face going back to, like, his like acting during the fight scenes, and like you can understand how he's feeling, and just saying like, I'm not going to send you back, I'm going to kill you myself.
Yeah.
And like even earlier when they were trying to figure out cures, he's like, okay, cures for Max, Lizard, Sandman, Doc Ock, and yeah that's it. And then Tobey's like, no, we have to cure Goblin too.
Yeah.
And Tom is like, no, like, I'm going to kill you myself.
Exactly.
And he almost does.
Yeah. Granted, that scene could have been made better if Tobey Maguire had emotions, but that's okay. Him or Tom almost killing Willem Dafoe. I'm using their names. I'm using the names for the Spider-Man, now I'm using the names for the villains when I don't need to.
People know who we're talking about.
But when he almost kills Goblin with the glider, just like Spider-Man 1.
That stiff acting, I was a little more okay with, because he did, like, give a look. Yeah. I was like, don't do this.
And then when he gets cured, and he's like, what did I do?
I know, that was heartbreaking for me, too. Like, oh, what have I done? Because, like, you could do that, like, so many different ways. Yeah. And he did that in the exact right way, to where you know he is so sorry. Yeah. He has so much remorse. Yeah. And he doesn't even know what he did. He just looks around and he knows something went wrong.
I'm sad that we also got introduced to Feast, and then...
Oh, yeah.
Immediately Aunt May dies. So hopefully Feast still has,
I think
a foundation going on, because I think it will. Also, what I meant to say, I'm very glad I remembered. You know what Lizard in the box truck reminded me of?
What?
Clifford.
We're not going to bring up Clifford every time. I'm going to move past it.
We almost got through an episode and you didn't let me talk about Clifford.
I swear, if that's on your top 10 list...
Get it. Join us next season for just another episode of Clifford. It's going to happen.
Yes. Okay. So, I guess we can wrap up.
Yeah, I can talk about... I have some fun fact or a few...
Yeah, hit me. Oh, yeah. I just have one thing to say. We are in a global pandemic.
Yes.
It's getting really bad right now. It's made over $1 billion.
Yes.
And, no movie has even gotten close.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the opening weekend for this movie, it was, what, like 200...
And like 50 million. Yeah, it was second place to Endgame.
Yeah.
Which came out not during a global pandemic.
And do you know what the highest opening weekend for the pandemic was before that?
Wasn't it like Black Widow?
It was Venom.
Venom.
For 90 million.
Yeah.
Or 80 million or something.
Uh-huh.
So it more than tripled that.
It is now, as of right now, officially made $1 billion worldwide.
Yeah, it made $1 billion on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They're eating good.
Yeah. Good. I never thought this would happen in a pandemic, but here we are. But anyway, fun facts.
I did think about that. Lexi Wright, the actress who plays Morgan Stark, was supposed to have a scene in this movie.
Really?
She was supposed to... We don't know what it was, but it was cut.
That would be cool.
It probably would have been the grave scene at the graveyard, maybe. Like, maybe with Happy.
Maybe. That would have been cool if, like, you see her in the movie and, like, she's just with Happy, because, like...
Yeah, because she...
But I guess she still has Pepper.
Yeah.
But, like, Happy is kind of, like, the foster dad
like
to her
cool
now.
Uncle.
Yeah.
But she was supposed to be in it, which was sad. There was, apparently there was a lot of scenes cut between the 3 Spider-Man. Like, they just didn't have time for it.
But they still shot it?
Yeah. So
I can't wait to see the deleted scenes.
Yes, I'm really, really hoping that those get all released.
They do kind of the pointing.
True.
When Ned says, "Hey, Peter." Hey, yeah, that's all of us. Peter Parker, that doesn't help.
This is on the topic of the tickets.
Okay.
Just like Endgame, as soon as the tickets went on sale for Spider Monday,
oh my God.
Everything crashed.
Yeah, everything
went down.
I had to wait like an hour and a half to get my ticket.
It was so incredibly difficult.
It was so bad.
Regal went down, and just all the
Fandango, Adam Tickets, Cinemark.
It was
AMC.
Genuinely shocking. Talking about the ratings, Spider-Man. Did you see that, or do you know?
I have an idea. I haven't looked in a little bit, so okay. I can guess.
Go for it.
I know it's the highest Spider-Man rated.
Wrong.
Well, aside from Into the Spider-Verse.
Correct.
Highest live action
yes.
Spider-Man. Is it, 94?
Okay. 94?
Yeah, 94.
Okay.
Credits.
Audience.
98.
You got 93 for critic and 98 for audience.
Ooh.
It is currently sits in second place of all the Spider-Man films. First for live action.
Yes.
Between Into the Spider-Verse for number 1 and then Spider-Man 2 for number 3. And I really like Spider-Man 2. I feel like it was a good Spider-Man film.
I think it still holds up. I don't think it's as good as the others, but I'm biased.
Yeah.
But
I think it was better than Spider-Man 1, and Spider-Man 3 was honestly a mess. Like a good mess.
By the way, I just looked. It is at 94% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Is it?
So I am correct.
My bad. Did it go up? Dang.
Yeah, I guess it went up. It debuted to 100%, and it stayed there for a while.
Mm-hmm. It's a good film. It has
so
flaws.
We never got into ratings. How would you rate it?
Oh, true. Bro, I'd give this probably like a 96, 97.
Yeah, I'd give it like a 9.5 out of 10.
This is my favorite MCU film, I think.
Really? I think I have Endgame just above it.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, with more time, this is probably going to be my favorite MCU film.
This got me, Endgame was good, and it had me captivated, but this had a smile on my face the entire time.
Yeah.
It had me giddy.
I did, there were, true stakes in this movie. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was more than just the hero. It was, at the beginning with MIT.
Yeah.
And, it was about his friends and family, which is Spider-Man. Him just trying to protect his friends and family.
Mm-hmm. That felt like MCU Spider-Man. Where it's he's kind of he's trying to interview on this, really low level.
Mm-hmm.
But then... By the end, it's now, instead of him doing this for, himself and his friends, now it's for his friends. Which I felt like was a really good transition.
Well, even at the beginning, he doesn't even try to get himself in when he, asked the lady and stuff. He's like, I want to do this for Ned, and I want to do this for MJ.
Right.
I want to help them. Who cares about me?
Mm-hmm.
Which I loved.
Talking about the George Washington Bridge scene real quick. I feel like it was the solution to fighting him, where it was he stole the nanotech. Is that clear? Did he steal it, or did the nanotech just kind of attach itself?
The nanotech...
Because I feel like... I don't know if that was... It made it look like Doc Ock was doing that himself, but now, after understanding it, it would make sense for Peter Parker to do that on purpose so that he could control the tentacles. But I don't know if he thought that far ahead. I think he took it as well.
Yeah, because then he only got it back after Doc Ock gave it back.
To the integrated suit. Yeah, but I feel like it was kind of silly with that, but that also felt kind of Spider-Man, which I liked.
Yeah.
I did a hand motion where he's controlling the tentacles with his arm.
Yeah. I liked that. I thought it was funny.
It was fun. It felt like an anticlimactic fight for Doc Ock.
I can see that.
Well, everything up to that point was awesome. Like the trailer scene where he throws the big pipe across and he slides underneath it.
Yes.
Like the fight cinematography, the choreography, I suppose, is just great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want more fun facts?
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know if you know this one. I didn't. In the original Spider-Man and in this one, or Spider-Man 1, Willem Dafoe wears prosthetics whenever he's Norman Osborn.
I saw that.
And then whenever he's Green Goblin, it's just his natural, unperfect teeth.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool, and I somehow didn't notice. But it's a really cool small change.
It was so cool.
This is the first MCU trilogy where one director did all three movies.
John Watts, he's doing Fantastic Four next.
Is he?
Yeah, so it's going to be cool.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess we're going to get Fantastic Four and then Spider-Man 4, unless he does something else.
Yeah, we'll probably have if we go that long without getting Spider-Man just fighting crime in some background of another show, I'll be surprised. Also,
I think they're going to save him exclusively for the movies, but I think it will be a little bit.
Yeah.
Before we get the next one.
Coming up for this year, or for 2022, we have a couple of MCU shows as well.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there's a spoiler because it's just something being reported on, but it's been reported that Matt Murdock will be in She-Hulk. And not as a cameo, but as a really significant supporting role.
Yeah, because She-Hulk's the lawyer.
Right. And so I'm very excited for that. I want all my friends back. I really like that movie.
That's so cool.
Or that show. Let's see what we got. That's the Hobgoblin fun fact. Tom Holland began filming the movie just 2 days after filming his movie Uncharted. However, Spider-Man released first.
I'm kind of excited for Uncharted.
I'm not.
Yeah, well, the
casting is really bad.
Yeah, but I'm just looking for some silly fun, and it looks like that's what's getting.
If you watch it without knowing what, that Uncharted is a game where an adult male plays is the main character, and not, the baby boy Tom Holland.
Well, they had to,
Also, Mark Wahlberg as Sully does not...
He was supposed to be Nathan Drake.
Mark Wahlberg was?
Yeah, no, because this was in, development for so long. He was Nathan Drake, and then it just took forever. He aged out, so they're like, we still want you, so how about you be Sully?
There's a really good short film on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, with Nathan Fillion.
And
Stephen Lang.
Yeah, he did very, very good.
I think if they made this movie 10 years ago, Nathan Fillion would be great.
Yeah.
But they're trying to do a franchise, which I understand. I would want to do a franchise for Uncharted.
Right.
And so you need young actors to do that.
Yeah, but he's Spider-Man young.
Yeah.
And I don't think it works well. But I'll still probably see it. We'll probably still do an episode about it because it's big enough.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we will.
But apparently, I didn't even notice this. I hope this is true. In the scene where he's going through school, Peter is, at the very beginning, there's scientists on the wall behind him. And there's real scientists, but there's also Howard Stark, Erskine, and Hank Pym. All in the paintings, which I miss somehow.
I really loved the scene when he goes back to school.
Yeah,
and JB
that was supposed to go on longer as well.
Really?
That was supposed to be a lot lengthier of a whole everybody clicking phones and him walking around the school and stuff.
Well, I just love the scene with JB Smoove, Martin Starr, and Hannibal Buress.
Yeah.
Especially Hannibal Buress, who's the gym teacher. And he's like, you know what you did.
Yeah.
You killed Mephisto. And they're like, he's a conspiracy theorist. Don't listen to him. I loved that so
They're
much.
very self-aware.
I always just think about the scene from Homecoming when he's playing the Captain America video. He's pretty sure this guy's a war criminal now. But, I mean, they say I have to play it for you.
True. Let's see. Tom Holland's little brother Harry was supposed to cameo as a drug dealer.
I saw that. Do you know why?
I don't know why, but I know it got cut.
Well, yeah, I saw this. He was doing an interview on Graham Norton or something, and he was complaining to his brother about that Doc Ock scene where he was hanging upside down. oh, it's so hard to do this. Like, it's so exhausting. Like, the blood's draining. And his brother's making fun of him. Like, oh, poor you, Spider-Man. You have to hang upside down for a few hours. And, like, he was doing it for hours on end. Because that was, like, the shoot for the day.
Yeah.
And then John Watts came to Tom Holland. And he was like, hey, like, we're doing this scene with a burglar. Like, do you think your brother would want to do it?
Cool.
And Tom Holland said, yes, but he has to hang upside down.
That's funny.
And so he made his brother hang upside down.
Cool.
And his brother
didn't even make it in the film.
Yeah, and his brother's like, oh my god, I get it. This was so hard. And then it didn't make it into the movie.
That's really funny, actually. I'm curious if that was intentional.
I don't think it was, because, like, even when he was doing the interview, he was like, it didn't make it into the movie. I feel so bad.
Let's see. There's 2 bridges that are really featured in the film. The first one's very early. It's whenever he's swinging around with MJ and he lands on the bridge.
Yeah.
That's the same one from Spider-Man 1 that Green Goblin drops MJ off of.
Oh, okay.
And then the second
they drop off it.
True. And then he's like, or whenever MJ's like, Peter, and she's like hanging there. He's like, oh.
Oh, my bad.
Then the second bridge is just the George Washington Bridge, which is also just close to that one. That's pretty much just George Washington Bridge. It has significance in the comics, nothing for us really, because it's where, spoiler alert for the comics, or whatever run that may be, Gwen Stacy dies there. But that's also, I don't think that's... It could be why they chose it, but it's also just kind of a recognizable bridge, so that could be it as well. I mean, I got a couple other things, but they're mostly, like, obvious. There's a lot of joking that went on behind the scenes of, like, the first initial trailer that got leaked through the, like, TikTok phone section, where, like, all the actors and, like, John Watts especially, he made an Instagram, or whenever the teaser trailer was released, he made an Instagram post displaying the trailer in the same phone Inception style. He captioned this post the way the director intended, joking at the fact that it was leaked the day before. But it's all very good.
Yeah. All right.
I think that wraps it up for me.
So that was Spider-Man. Do you want to talk about Hawkeye?
Sure. My favorite MCU show, I think.
Yeah. I think, for me, Loki is just still, like, maybe, like, they're neck and neck. Like, sometimes I like Hawkeye more, sometimes I like this more. But this show overall, I love the chemistry between Hawkeye and Kate Bishop.
For real.
Like,
it has the best writing, I think.
It does. Yeah, a lot of people did not like it, but
Loki's good, but it's like, every line is like, what? Aren't they like, what?
Yeah, I can see that. But, yeah, I really like the action and everything. The setup with the watch... I thought it was kind of wasted.
Yeah, I agree.
I really liked how at the end, the shady husband turned out to just be this regular guy who just knows how to fence, and he was just sword fighting.
He was just vibing. He was literally killing people. I don't think he was killing them.
No, he was killing them.
He was killing them?
I'm pretty sure they show him the sword going.
I never saw him kill anyone. I thought he just went, no. And then, like...
Because, like, I think they mentioned, like, is he killing people? And they're like, yeah.
I feel like one of the weirdest parts of Hawkeye is that, like, weird middle ground where it's like, is he lethal or non-lethal? Because they go a very far distance both ways to show, like, you see a dude get shot in the chest with an arrow and then explosions, but then you get, like, and got pray for the little bros in the van.
That made me
taken by the owl.
That made me laugh so hard.
Are you familiar with the like the owl itself, the significance of it?
No.
Like, I think it was either last year or a couple years ago. They do cut down like an actual tree and they bring it to New York for the like Rockefeller Center, like giant Christmas tree. One of the years, an owl like just stayed in the tree the entire time they transported it to Rockefeller.
The entire time?
And so there was just an owl flying around like Rockefeller Center in that tree, and so they finally captured it and rehomed it. But that was a nod to that owl.
I can't believe like the owl just picked up the truck.
He just kind of,
and then you just hear their screams.
Yeah, it's in the subtitle says like children screaming. I don't know where they're gonna go with that, but
I know I don't think they're gonna go anywhere with that.
I think that's the cruelest death ever.
That is.
And I'm curious if it's like Ant-Man rules, where if they're tiny, they like starve slower.
Or I guess they have super
because there's
strength.
no way that's not going to be a bit in like a future movie. Like, there's no way we're not going to just see, like, a little car driving around or something.
Oh, I think we are never going to see them again.
You don't think so?
No.
I think that'd be way worse.
Yeah, but, I think it's going to be ambiguous.
Poor guys. Poor little bros. And, the scene where the guy's like, I figured it out with my girlfriend. We went and saw Maroon 5. And Kate's like, that's great! And punches him in the face.
Yeah.
The Yelena relationship with Kate, bro.
And how they're just complimenting each other. After
she's like, stop making me like you.
And she's like, I can't help it. Like,
yeah.
Man. I also, I understood how they could not keep the brutality of Kingpin from Daredevil. Mm-hmm. But I still think they did a good job of having Kingpin in here.
Mm-hmm. I want to say, no way he's dead.
No. I saw in the comics, he gets blinded. Mm-hmm. And they even say
he's permanently blind.
I think he might be,
because I don't think they'd go that route for the show.
Like right there, but especially when he's like, sometimes family doesn't see beat eye to eye. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, that's obvious. Like he's gonna get like shot in the eye or something.
Yeah. Well, there's a panel that it like mimics. Yeah. It's like beat for beat.
But I think it would be cool though. Oh, sorry, where you're going?
No, you're good.
Okay. I think it would be cool though if he is blinded to have a fight with Daredevil, who is also blind.
I agree, but he isn't blinded in the same sense that Daredevil is. He doesn't have enhanced senses. He would just be shot in the eye.
Yeah, that's true. But he's Kingpin. He'll figure it out.
I think he's just gonna like feel better or get something that restores his vision if he does go blind.
Mm-hmm. I think he gets the super soldier serum.
That's possible.
Because a lot of people were saying, like, maybe he contacted the power broker.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my goodness.
Which is a real thing. Like, that could have been.
It could have been.
Like, maybe even she was talking to at the end of Falcon.
They need to clean up Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
True.
But, yeah, I really liked Kingpin in this.
Mm-hmm. I feel like my most upsetting part with that, like, with the death scene, is, like, he took 3 arrows to the chest, a car,
an
explosion with shrapnel, and every trick arrow that you can imagine. I loved her like labeling the arrows as well.
Yeah.
And then he's like hobbling away, and he gets shot. No way, absolutely not. I also liked his attire for this one. He had the cane, and he had like
the Hawaiian shirt. Yeah, comics accurate too.
Yeah. So. No complaining there.
I really like Hawkeye. Mm-hmm. It's such a good show.
He made it home for Christmas.
He made it home for Christmas.
And Kate came with him, and Lucky the dog. Yeah. It's so good.
And then at the end, when she's like, what should my name be? And it's like, Hawkeye.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's cool. Yeah. I like that.
I'm very excited.
I can't wait to see more Kate Bishop.
The watch thing, I feel like MCU constantly falls on their face with this, is when they introduce character, or they like tease a comic book character that like, I'd say the majority of people don't know. Like Agent 19, who's Mockingbird, or like any comic sort, like a combination of that.
Yeah.
It's like, who? I mean, cool. She was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. I guess that makes sense. Yeah. But, like,
I guess.
How is this, like, what we've been leading up to the entire time?
Yeah. That was kind of, but I really like the show overall. Mm-hmm. Any more thoughts on that?
I think I'm good. There's probably a bunch now that I'm like caught up.
Yeah, once we like hit the end button, we're gonna have so much more.
Yeah.
But there's one more thing I would like to talk about. I just got reminded of it. Of course, Venom. No, it's another Willem Dafoe thing. Nightmare Alley.
Oh yeah.
I was very excited for this. Mm-hmm. I had no idea what it was gonna be about. Mm-hmm. I just knew Guillermo del Toro, who is a great director.
Yeah.
And this movie is so much wasted potential. Mm-hmm. It's about Bradley Cooper, who he kind of joins this carnival, and this carnival has a lot of like shady stuff, a lot of deep secrets. Okay. This like seedy underground kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And even Bradley Cooper has this very dark past. At the beginning shows he did. The beginning shows him it's the beginning, so it's not a spoiler. Yeah. Like kind of burying a body in a house and burning the house down.
Cool.
Yeah. So, and then he joins this carnival, and you see how all these people are, like, shady and stuff. So I'm like, oh, so it's going to be about him, like, infiltrating this carnival, like, learning their tricks, and, like, something's going to go down, and maybe he, like, destroys the entire thing.
Yeah.
And then you know what happens?
What happens?
The most cliche thing. He falls in love with a carnival girl and runs away with her. And then it becomes, and then he learns from one of the other carnies, who used to be a mentalist, he learns how to like use those tricks. So then now he has his mentalist show, and like it's like a roller coaster of like interesting, very not interesting, kind of interesting, and like it never reaches that high it had in the beginning. Especially like Willem Dafoe's character.
Yeah.
His whole thing is that his act is showing off this like man or beast, where it shows this man who like they just pick up, who's like this drunk like homeless person, and they basically lock him up in a cage and treat him like a beast, and they make him do cruel things, and so it's like so like interesting, and like honestly like at that point I'm like, okay, I know exactly how this movie is going to end, at least, and that's exactly how the movie ends.
Okay.
And it's like it just gets so uninteresting, and the ending it kind of comes out of nowhere. Like there's a betrayal of sorts. I don't want to spoil too much, but it was so wasted. I'd give it maybe a 5 or a 4 out of 10.
Dang.
Yeah, because it had some really high highs, and then it just never reaches that as it goes on.
That sucks.
But yeah, that was my little mini review of Nightmare Alley. Check it out if you want. Like, I'm sure a lot more people like it. It has a really high score on Rotten Tomatoes and everything, so yeah, I'm kind of in the minority for that.
Well, I've not seen it, so I can just say Willem Dafoe looks pretty cool. I like him.
Yes, especially as Goblin.
Yes. All right. Well, that, I believe, concludes, finally, our Spider-Man talk. I'm sure we'll reference it in the future.
We probably will.
And continue to talk about MCU things, because that is apparently what we do. But anyways, thank you for joining us from this home edition of That's a Wrap.
Season finale.
Join us next season, starting technically January 5th is not our season.
It's going to be like, or in between, it's going to be a special episode, top 10s. But then our next review coming out is...
Would that be January. The 12th? If 5th is...
I believe it's either Scream...
We're looking at a calendar.
Or,
Scream comes out soon?
Oh, yeah, it comes out in a few weeks. Let's see.
Tied with us for a moment.
Sorry. Oh, it's going to be our catch-up episode.
Oh, okay.
We talk about Sing 2,
Matrix or Kingsman.
The Matrix, and the Kingsman.
Maybe you should put it on a poll.
Yeah.
On Instagram, that'd be cool.
So we can either review all of them, maybe one of them.
Sing 2, I plan on watching for sure. What a movie.
Yeah, I saw Sing 2.
Did you?
I guess I should wait to share my thoughts.
Don't say anything. My expectations are so incredibly high, and I'm going to walk in here and say, that sucked.
You got my expectations high, Anthony.
Have you seen The Matrixes? Not the
I've
new
seen
one.
The first one. Honestly, like, I don't know if I'm interested.
I just want to know if, like, I have to watch 2 and 3.
You do. That's what I've heard.
Okay.
I don't know. I probably will watch The Matrix because I'm still kind of interested.
I'm going to have to because Jonathan Groff is in it.
Yeah.
My girlfriend is...
I'm really excited for The King's Man.
Yeah.
Even though, like...
It looks fun. Have you seen the Rah Rah Rasputin trailer?
I have. Yeah, that was really good. But, yeah. So...
All right. Well, join us on January 5th for our Bridge Best of 2021 episode. And until then, that's a wrap.